What's going on? It's your guy Georgia Muscle back with another reaction video. I want to react to this video from content creator Prince Henry, a fellow YouTuber, parents obsession with low haircuts. I thought this was an interesting video, so let's get into it.
The question of why are parents, specifically black parents, so obsessed with low haircuts?
Jacking it right now, bro. What's funny, bro? Get out my face with that camera shit, bro. What's funny, bro? Bro, my mom forced me to do that shit, nigga. If it wasn't for my mom, bro, would I not do that shit, bro? Dude, mom, y'all niggas would drag.
Buddy, haircut is. Ooh, that's a tough haircut, boy.
Don't respect y'all mom, bro. That's what it is, bro. My mom told me to cut my hair. I'm cutting my hair. Like.
Now, did you cut your hair? That's the question we need to be asking. Did you cut it? Did you go to a barber? I mean, the size not even blended in.
Man say trust the process.
Jeez,
My process
Louise.
didn't work. I'm about to make every dreadhead shot. I'm dreadhead K now, nigga. Fuck all dreadheads, nigga. I'm not jacking that shit no more. We back to wave gang, nigga. Every dreadhead I see, I'm on that. I'm cutting their hair. Y'all niggas don't respect y'all mom. That's what it is, bro. Oh, yo, bro.
So
We used to do that
at
back
some
in school
point,
too. It's crazy.
Someone told you need to cut your hair. You spent a couple months growing it. You know, it take a while to get some length on your hair, and as soon as you get a little bit of length on your hair, your parent tell you you need to cut it or you need to do something with your hair or you can't have it out, and they give you this bald haircut or this low haircut that you have to stick with, and it really sucks because you be trying to grow it out to try to get, you know, whatever the most in style haircut at the time. And this is a common thing. A lot of black men experience this, or black boys experience it. I'm sure some of y'all probably watching this, experiencing this right now, where you're in the house and you can't grow your hair out because your parents not going for it.
Now, how old are these kids? I mean, are they in elementary and middle school? I mean, who are you as a kid to tell your parents how you're gonna get your hair cut? Or what's best for you. In an ideal home, you really should, as a kid, you shouldn't really have no say in those type of affairs. Oh, I'm gonna get this type of haircut, or I'm gonna grow my hair out and do this, and who gonna do it? Who gonna pay for it? Now you got the environment and money for that. You got people in your family who know how to do hair. Your parents might lean on and like, okay, let's let them have braids or something like that. But for the most part, especially when I was growing up, in the 90s and 2000s, ain't nobody really had that type of control to tell their parents what kind of hair they was gonna have.
Yo, that doula, yo, what happened to your hair? You got them braids?
Yeah, I got them braids.
Let me see them.
Alright, bro.
Oh, God, what happened, bro?
I ain't gonna lie, I just felt like it was time, bro.
What you mean it was time? You bro, get too much hair, nigga. Nah, look at the sun shining on your head.
Now he said he's bald. Wow.
You didn't cut your hair off, bro.
I wonder how much hair he really had. If that's considered bald, how much hair did he have?
Doesn't matter. Either that, or I'm gonna be out on the streets. And shit, I'm broke.
What happened to the dreadhead journey?
Man, forget that, bro. I'm on a wave journey, bro.
Nah, they really.
Young brother, look, you look a lot nicer with that haircut. Keep brushing it, putting that do-rag on there. You look a lot nicer if you went on this dreadhead journey. And more respectable, I'll say that too.
Nerfed you, bro.
Man, just give me a few months, bro. I'm gonna be spinning, bro. Man, it don't matter for me, cause I'm gonna still get more women than y'all niggas with dreads.
Yeah, yo, damn, you look like Slender Man tonight, boy, that nigga. Wait, hold on, what you doing? Yo.
So a lot of times they'll say you can't have your hair out because it's not presentable. Or
It's
it
not,
seems
depending
like,
on how it
it
looks.
seems like this is some canon event where everybody has to go through this. I'm sure there's some people that y'all probably like, nah, I never had to go through that. But some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You just have to rock out this low haircut up until probably like high school. That's at least where it changed for me.
Dads forcing you to get a straight buzz cut throughout your entire childhood has to be a universal experience, bro. What is their obsession with wanting you to be bald? Straight bald. Why did they want us to be chopped so bad?
Man, my dad is bald. That's not bald. That's a low haircut for sure. But that's not bald. All right? That's not bald. We gotta watch the words we're saying. Like that's in the back that's probably like a bald fade, but that kid is not bald in that picture.
And then the
right
first
there.
time you finally get the courage to be like, hey dad, can I just get the sides off and keep the top? They look at you so crazy. They be like,
You trying to waste my money?
you trying to waste my money and not get a real haircut? No, we're taking it all off. My pops used to force me to get a straight
No guard
haircut. No guard on that bitch, straight zero, all off.
Now look how he done grew his hair out. Look, he looking like Stretch from that basketball game, with all that hair on top of his head. That thing looked like a dang on hat, a mushroom hat, or one of them Russian hats they wear over there in the wintertime. Jeez, yeah, he's straight rebelling with that hair.
Off, bro. I never had hair as a kid, bro. As soon as it got a little too much, my dad was like, time to cut it off. And he did it himself most of the time. Straight zero. No lineup, no nothing. Bro, don't even get me started on foreign parents. Foreign parents, they look at you crazy if you try to grow your hair out. The only way to escape the buzz cut is to get your own money to pay for your own haircuts, bro. That's the only way you could escape it. And even then, when they see you get the cut,
Again, you're a child. I mean, why should your parents allow a child to have such say in their home? I'm paying for the haircut. Or like my dad, he cut me and my brother's hair. I'm giving you a haircut. This is how much time I have. Let's go ahead and cut this down and let's get it done. Go to school in the morning. I mean, you a kid. I mean, it sounds like they want total control of their parents' household. That's crazy.
they look at you like, I don't even see a cut. Bro, you see the cut, you see the side. It's like, to them, if you don't cut it all off straight to zero, you wasted your money. If I wanted to cut it all off straight to zero, I just cut it off myself. I go buy the clippers and do it myself. That shit is truly a canon event.
And a lot of times this conversation is tied to believing certain hairstyles will make you look ghetto or like a thug, and people are just going to stereotype you, or your parents don't want you looking like that, feeling like that. It's like it just associate long hair with some negative association with it.
Yes, associations come with appearance. So like a perfect example, when I was in middle school, especially down in Atlanta, my parents would not let me wear a white t-shirt because there was a certain connotation with just wearing a plain white t-shirt during that time. That was where, most of the kids who the troublemakers, that's what they wore. Plain white t-shirts with some Jabot jeans and some, maybe some Bathing Ape shoes or some Air Force Ones. With hair, but also clothing, appearance matters. Now if you have certain hairstyles and they look neat, that's one thing, but I'm sure they're not talking about, they just want you to grow your hair out and just look however. I think that's kind of the sentiment that I'm gaining from these videos so far.
It's never, and when we want it, it's never about that. It's usually just like it looks cool, and that's just how we want to rock our hair. So, so it could fit like the aesthetic we're trying to go for. It's never about trying to look like thugs or anything like that. But our parents always just view long hair as some type of negative connotation with that, any hairstyle that's above 2 to 3 inches of length on my hair.
Hey man, this is a public service announcement to all the parents. My voice gone in the world. Can we please protest against our sons with these nappy ass hair? Every day me and mama tell me, you need to cut that. You need to cut that damn hair, man. You don't take care of it. I ain't seen you wash it since you've been growing it. It look like a ham full of Easter basket grass, man. You got leather hair now. You ain't washed it so long it look leather. It look like dirty trap house carpet. You gotta cut it, dog. Ain't nothing wrong with a low cut. Get you some waves or something, man. Cause that right there, man, you look like a Jackson 6. But at least they had an activator and grease in their head, man. Go in there and wash it in the bathroom, school bathroom. Go wash it in the school bathroom. Do something with it. Put some snow in it, wet it. It's dry as hell. You gotta cut it.
Now this dad, if this is dad, and if this is a serious video, the hair looks dry. He probably got dandruff in it. You run a comb through that mug. You're gonna pick the boy up with the comb because it's probably all knotted. I'm sure his dad knows more than we would know of how he takes care of his hair. So there's one thing between growing your hair out and not doing anything, and then growing your hair out and taking care of it. He's talking about he don't wash it, he don't clean it, he don't comb, he don't do nothing to it. You might as well just cut it and get waves. If you ain't gonna take care of all that hair you got on top of your head.
Look, y'all gonna walk off. You gotta cut that, man. All you little dudes, you YNs wanna wear these nappy out hairstyles, man. Y'all need to cut it.
The ideas of like
Neat.
black hair,
Look how
long
neat
black
that
hair
is.
not being
I
presentable.
don't think
or
anybody's
professional.
parents have a
It's not a
problem
new
with that.
thing. This isn't like an experience just for me or just our generation. Like this has been happening for a while, and this has been passed down generation of generations, and it's coming from this idea called respectability politics. So respectability politics is basically the belief that if black people behave, look, speak, and live in ways.
No, we just seen a guy, you know, modeling hairstyles from 1910, 1920. Did he have a low haircut? I mean, I didn't see the guy with, you know, with the temp fade, bald fade. I mean, he had some hair on his head. What are we talking about?
That white society or white people consider proper, that then we will be treated with respect, safety, and equality. In simple terms, if we act right, they'll treat us right. This includes things like dressing or speaking proper English, or like, you know, if you grew up in the hood or just around black people, they'll say like, you know, talking white. This.
Yes, I mean, don't you want to talk where somebody can understand what you're saying? Now you gotta understand you know, some black folk came, you know, from the motherland, and English wasn't our first language. You know, even the black folk that was here, they were speaking English. So yeah, I mean, you getting colonized, you getting dominated. I need you to speak this good old American English. We need to understand what you're saying. I'm not speaking that blah 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 blah. You know how some of these rappers be talking. Nobody want to hear that.
This is where this kind of came from. It's also can be tied to being calm, polite, and non-confrontational, following rules perfectly. Basically avoiding anything that's seen as ghetto, loud, or too black. Presenting yourself as one of the good ones. And the reason this is because after slavery, black people were free, but still we experienced things like we was lynched, we was locked out of job opportunities.
Oh man, I mean, this guy done jumped off the ledge. We talking about low haircuts, and he got a guy hanging from a tree, getting lynched. That is amazing. The connections people will go.
Where they
Fair use.
just didn't give us jobs, no matter if we was qualified or not. They locked us out of certain housings and good neighborhoods. That's with redlining, and we was locked out of educations. That's why we had to create our own colleges, our own schools.
But black folk still went to black-owned doctors and black schools and black grocery stores and had the Negro leagues and had their own sports leagues and churches. You know, I'm not saying that the segregation was right, but black folk found a way to make it work for themselves. So
White societies basically push like ideas to other white people, stereotyping and propaganda that basically black people were violent or dirty or immoral or immature or childlike. So the black leaders of that time thought like, okay, if you're pushing
yeah, black pastor, he got a little haircut. He got a little afro, don't he?
all those stereotypes onto them, if we just prove that we're not that, if we prove that we're clean, we're moral, we're educated, we're respectable, they thought that white society will look at that and will have no excuse to then mistreat them. This is when respectability politics became organized and intentional. And this carried all the way into the late 1800s and early 1900s, where black churches and educators and middle-class leaders of that time pushed messages like dress modestly, or speak correctly, or avoid low behavior.
Yes. Yes, we're a polite society. We're not the dang jungle. Yes. You know, judge like he got some sense. I mean, y'all tell me in the comments, have you ran into a white person telling you how to dress? Or was it black people doing it? Because if it's not coming out the mouth of a white, that black person has all scruples about themselves to tell you what they feel and how things need to be done.
Don't embarrass the race. And we still have similar sayings that's been passed down from that. Like if you've heard someone being like, oh, I don't want to act up in these white folk establishments or anything like that. That's coming from direct messages from the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's been passed down generations in a way of taught on how to act around white people, because it's basically saying like your behavior doesn't just represent you, it represents all black people. And it's put enormous pressure on individuals to change the way they are to fit in this agenda that white people deemed as the correct way to act or the correct way to behave or present yourself. And respectability politics quietly does two harmful things. It blames black people for their own oppression. Instead of blaming racist laws, police violence, or economic exclusion,
I mean, here we go. Look, some more trauma for you. Let's bring back all the stuff from the 50s and the 60s. I mean, this is a perfect playbook. You know, they can't ever go from, 2010s, 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s. They got to go back to a time before their parents were born to make a point about low haircuts. That is amazing.
It blames clothing, hair, tone, music, and attitude. It creates two different types of black people. It creates the good black people.
Respectability politics separate black people. So we got some guys, some sweaters, drinking on some green smoothie, and then we have a guy sitting on the fence, with those little mat, the masks that pull over your face, on with dreads in his hair. Now, who would you approach more? Who would you feel more comfortable around? Come on, man. Come on.
And then it creates the bad black people, basically almost making it seem like the good ones deserve protection and the bad ones are disposable. This does not challenge racism or fight against oppression or anything at all. It just works within that system. And so, did it work? Did respectability politics get the end goal that they wanted of decreasing racism and oppression? Short answer, no. The evidence to conclude that it didn't work was that well-dressed black people were still lynched, educated black leaders were still assassinated,
1960s.
respectable black professionals are still profiled when it comes to police,
1960s.
and cut out of jobs and all these other kind of
1960s.
things. That's why DEI and those type of programs were implemented during the
1960s
civil rights era
program.
to begin with.
How is the short answer no when in 2026 we have all these freedoms, all these opportunities, everything's available to us? How's the short answer no? So would the long-term answer be no? I mean, yes. This is ridiculous.
It's because
Look at the imaging.
Or they played the part they talked
Straight out of the
way,
1960s
they still weren't
playbook.
getting the
Just
best
dust it
jobs
off.
or the opportunities that they should have gotten. So that's when you had the civil rights era pushing for laws to make sure those things don't happen.
And everybody that was part of, all the important figures of the civil rights era were well-dressed, well-groomed, well-organized. They weren't out there just looking however, doing whatever. They had a system going, and that's why we're able to have these freedoms that we have today. So how's the short answer no? It's 60 years later in 2026.
Respectability never stopped racism. It just
Nothing will stop racism. Racism is a concept in the mind of an ignorant person. That's what that is. I mean, you're not going to stop how somebody thinks or views the world. You could have a suit on, you could have a dashiki on, you could have whatever on. Ignorant person going to be ignorant.
shifted the blame onto black people.
Something I want black people to aggressively push away from is respectability politics. Because respectability politics tells us that if we present ourselves right and how we talk, how we carry ourselves, how we behave, that somehow we're able to escape violence and racism when history literally says otherwise for us. Let's not forget, Malcolm X was articulate, well-educated and polished, and yet he was killed while wearing a suit.
Who was Malcolm X killed by? Anybody want to tell me in the comments who was he killed by? I'm trying to figure that out. Get your hand out my pocket. Who said that? Was that the FBI?
Same thing with Fred Hampton. Young.
Who was Fred Hampton set up by? You know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe Day Boylan has, information I don't know.
Black, educated, was creating survival programs for black people, and yet he was killed in his sleep. Let's get this out the way. No amount of conformity can help black people against systems that are built on anti-blackness. But what it can do is hurt us by making us shrink or deny pieces of our own identity to make us seem acceptable.
I mean, where does one have to live and be and have to restrict themselves and deny pieces of themselves? I see black people all the time living their best life. What is this guy talking about?
As black people, we do not
some more 1960 programming.
Owe assimilation to anyone, because blackness is not a liability that needs to be fixed.
And I think people in my generation are starting to wake up.
This is all about hair. Remember that. This is all about, growing your hair out and having low haircuts when you're young.
I've seen a lot of videos of people fighting back this idea that our hair isn't good enough, it being grown out isn't presentable or is not professional. It
depends on how you maintain it and keep it. Do you have to put that in, in large capital letters?
Was showing that that's an old way of thinking, and we should be proud of our hair and love our stuff and fight back against that idea and not pushing those ideas to our kids or to the younger generation.
As a black man, you have to cut your hair and move up in this world, brother.
Okay. Now, I went to this guy's Instagram, the Jungle Vet on IG. Check him out, give him a follow. This guy cut his hair. As recently as August. The beginning of August, he cut his hair. I went through his pictures. He cut his hair. I wonder why he did that.
So being a barber on the HBCU campus, I cut a lot of people who are about to graduate. And the main thing I always hear them say is that they want to cut their hair low or they want to cut off their locks so they can have a quote-unquote more professional look. Now, this line of thinking is very common, especially within young black men, but it was never something that I ever really agreed with. Now, I understand wanting to have your appearance a certain way because the reality of it is your appearance is the first thing that someone is going to judge you off of. But
I mean, Come on, man. Wow. Duh.
But just because your hair is long doesn't mean that it's not professional. Because I know a lot of black people and people of color that are in corporate positions. They're judges, they're lawyers, they're doctors, and they have long hair, they have long locks, they have tattoos. And that just further proves to me that you can still...
Are they well maintained? That's the biggest issue. Are they well maintained? That's the most important part.
Thrive in these professional positions while still authentically being yourself. Now, if you want to cut your hair because you just want something new or you just want to change your appearance, then that's different. Because I know that if I ever get tired of having locks, then they're going to be gone. But don't feel like you need to cut your hair in order to have a successful career.
If you were black and you cut your hair to look more professional, you would have been the best slave on the plantation.
What? See? No, this ain't even 1960 program. This is 1860 program. He went back to slavery. Wow.
I promise you would have been Mass's favorite nigga. Back in May of 2024, me and my homie graduated from college. He was a psychology major, I was a biology major. For 2 months straight, my homie could not get a job.
I wonder why that was. Was it because he went to school for psychology?
He was applying for jobs online, calling jobs, matching with random people on LinkedIn. Nothing was working. One day he tells me I'm gonna cut my hair so I can look more professional. Mind you, my homie has a Michael Jackson afro. Top 3 afro in the entire Midwest. So I tell my homie, don't cut your hair, the job market just sucks right now. In July of 2024, he cut
At what point in history is psychology majors was a booming hiring market?
his hair. That same month, he got a job. In November of 2024, they let him go. His 4-month contract came to an end. They chose not to hire him full time. Now my homie had no job, a shitty haircut. And I love my homie, but he was looking like a milk dud with 2 brown eyes. He did all that tap dancing and they still did not hire him.
Now imagine that. Black man wanting to prove himself, cuts his hair, says he's tap dancing. Wow. Says he's tap dancing. Okay.
Now it is October of 2025. He is a bartender. He could not get a job in psychology and he said, fuck it. Let this be a lesson. Never cut your hair for a job.
And to the parent.
This guy could have had the haircut that he had. I mean, he could have been a white guy. He could have been a Latino, Asian. Who's getting a job in psychology in 2025? I mean, that's probably one of the worst degrees you could get to try to find a job. Come on now.
So if you're watching this video, we understand that a lot of this stuff is out of good intentions of wanting to protect your kid and making sure they have, how you was taught. You was basically taught this idea, never really gave no real explanation to it. And it turned into some version of believing that what you're saying is facts in the sense of certain hair looks better or looks presentable because of what respectability politics started and what was passed down generations and what was passed down to you. And it's not fair to you either. Same way it's not fair to your kid that you push the same ideologies to. We understand you're just trying to teach us how to play the game of racism. But at the end of the day, all you're really doing is pushing an anti-blackness that was pushed onto you that could then mold into a whole generation or whole culture of people not loving themselves. And we see this with black women and not loving their hair and feeling like they have to cover it up with other people's hair. And it shows in how it morphs into just a self-hatred for things that are just in our natural state. Our hair is our most natural thing that grows out our hair and it's beautiful, and we done found creative ways to make it dope. And so pushing these beliefs is just pushing anti-blackness.
And yes, I'm gonna put a bonnet on my son's head every night as he goes to sleep. Every single night. He's gonna have long hair.
Stressing me out,
He's
man.
never gonna have his little Bill moment that y'all gave me, that y'all gave a lot of little black men, where y'all cut all their hair off and they was crying and begging for y'all to not cut their hair off and y'all cut it off anyway. He's never gonna have that. He's gonna have a bonnet on. He's gonna have his hair products ready.
So we got a guy here who needs his hair redone with a nose ring, talking about he's gonna have his son wearing a bonnet. Okay. I mean, to me, I think we have bigger issues than, the type of hair that people have in 2026, but all right.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be ready to go. We're never gonna do that little hair situation, that little, no, we're never doing that, y'all. I'm sorry, we're never doing that.
And so I understand that in this world today, racism and oppression is still a thing. It might not be overt racism, even though that's kind of changing on social media with some people, but a lot of times it is racism that is systematic. You don't really see it. It's in the system.
Are they systematically oppressing black people because of their hair choices in 2026? Y'all put that in the comments, let me know.
So I do believe we have to fight back and to stop blaming ourselves for racism. Like, that has to stop. Our hair isn't the problem. The system is the problem. And that belief system is the problem. And so let me know your thoughts in the comments. How you feel about this? What's your opinion about this? What's maybe some of your stories or experiences with your parents and having to cut your hair? Let us know in the comment. Let's talk about it. And I'll catch you in the next one.
No. Badass kids getting so bad school. Not the Michael Jordan grip. You lay hands.
Now this is more of that's more of a punishment hairstyle than a, let's make him more acceptable to white culture. But he's been adding all types of different stuff. All right. So that video is from Prince Henry. I thought it was pretty interesting with the acknowledgments to everything that was going on in the 60s, way before he was thought of, before I was thought of, even before my parents, and I'm sure his parents' time as well. And that's one thing a lot of these people like to do. I remember a quote from Bob Woodson. He was a civil rights activist. And he said, "We have good memory, but lack great judgment." He was talking to a reporter from the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, I think. He said, "Those who focus on systemic racism know their history, but they aren't accurately judging the present." A lot of these people, they're stuck, in the 1950s and 60s and all the stuff that happened, and they don't acknowledge everything that's great that's happened and how much progress we've maintained now, which I think is unfortunate because Black people are succeeding. We are doing a lot better than our grandparents and great grandparents, and that should be commended. We shouldn't still harp on stuff that happened a long time ago. None of this, bringing up racism and showing pictures of guys getting lynched and beat up by the police, that has nothing to do with your hair. I just think that's silly. So I just want to show, for me, I believe that, Black people, important, powerful Black people, that's who moves the culture. That's who makes the difference in our society. So I want to see, some of the movers and shakers that we have out here in 2026. So I want to start with, let's start in politics. Let's start with the Congressional Black Caucus, and let's see, do they have wigs? Do they have dreads? Do they have, nappy long hair, or just, the hair, even the hair that the Prince Henry had? Let's see here. Let's see. Everybody, nice professional pictures, nice haircut. And here's the thing: once you get older, you're gonna lose your hair. So I'm losing my hair. He has an afro, but it's like I've been saying all video. He has a nice shape up. He looks clean. He looks presentable. See, these are the movers and shakers for Black America, right? Let's see how they're looking. Oh, okay. So nothing too crazy, right? So you say, oh, don't, they're in politics, right? Let's go to National Black Lawyers Association. Let me show y'all. Okay. Well, let's see these guys here. These are the National Black Lawyers Association, the members. Let's see, do we see any brothers with long hair, wild hair, out here looking like Nature Boy? Do we have any of that here with the real, movers and shakers in Black America? Okay, I didn't see any. Nope. All right, one more. Let's go to the Atlanta Black Chambers leadership, right? Let's see. Atlanta Black Chambers leadership, executive leadership. Let's see. Oh, look, it's grown out. It's not super low, right? But it's shaped up. The beard is, shaped up. He looks well kept and presentable. All right. And this is for both Black men and Black women. Everybody looks presentable. Different hair, everybody don't have the same type of hairstyle, especially the women, but they look presentable. Right? Yeah, I just think it's just a bad correlation for it. And I wanted to leave y'all with one quote. This is from the Bible, right? I'll leave you with a quick Bible verse that, should shut all this down. And when you're young, you might not understand it, but as you get older, I think you'll get it, right? Because I had my hair out. I used to have plaits, right? But that's not professional. That's not good for you. So I'll leave you with this. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So to be a serious person in this world, you're going to have to conform. You have to look professional. You're going to have to dress for success. All right. You know, having a low haircut, getting waves, being neat, that's not conforming to white culture or respectability politics. There's a certain way you have to do things, and I just showed you in my examples. A lot of the movers and shakers, you know, look presentable. They had nice haircuts. You know, they didn't have wigs. They didn't have crazy dreads. You know, they had long hair. It was nicely kept, well groomed. The beard was well groomed and connected. All right, that's just how the world is. That has nothing to do with being white, loving whites, or, you know, falling in line. You know, it's called being a mover and shaker. It's called being powerful. It's called understanding the world. All right. You know, just look at some of these people, you know, like Myron Rolle, Reginald F. Lewis, rest in peace to him. Who else? Obama, right? Bob Woodson, as I mentioned. Even the Bronner brothers, you know, they made hair care products for Black America. Do you see them with long hair? No, they have. I mean, the preacher, Dale. I think all of the brothers are preachers, but Dale Bronner, he has, you know, sort of a higher haircut, but it's well kept. He's well groomed. You know, all that stuff matters. You know, if you want to make it big in this world, but you know, if you don't want to be a serious person, you know, you're free to go do Uber Eats and DoorDash, and shoot, you could work at Starbucks. They hire you. Could look however at Starbucks. They'll hire you. Waffle House, shoot. You gonna have long hair and put the little thing over your beard and over your head and go ahead. But you know, for me, I have a mentality that I want to be more. I want to be better than average. You know, I want to be a mover and a shaker. I want to be an institutional builder. I want to be a foundational member of my community. So this is how it is. I'm a little older now, so I see the world from a different spot. But if you're young, you might not get it. But that's why I read the Bible verse. So I hope you like my video. Subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.